Welcome to another video. Today it's a duo video. As you can see, I have a guest, more a friend.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sadish, for accepting my request.
Thanks for the invitation.
Finished with the formalities.
Yeah.
No, Sadish is a very interesting personality. He studied, also graduated from German university almost like 15 years back, and had an interesting career and a very interesting personality. Yeah,
Hopefully.
a cricket freak and huge network. So Satish has a very huge network of international people, and it's beyond normal. So in that
Oh,
way,
okay.
Satish is also quite interesting guy. In this video, I'm going to have a discussion with Satish, and we will try to have a snapshot of the last 15 years, especially looking into your career,
Mhm.
and then I hope having this view of your journey in the last 15 years, those of the ones who are viewing this video will get some more
Motivation.
information, and
Yeah.
also
Mhm.
I'm sure it will be inspiring. Okay, so let's start from this. So can you just share quickly where you're from, and then what you studied there back in
Mhm.
India, and then
Mhm.
also here?
Yeah. So thanks for the invitation, Sami. I mean,
Come on, cut the crap.
Yeah. So basically, I come from Chennai, Madras. I did my, let's say, in my 12th grade, I had an opportunity to study both medicine and engineering. So I opted to go for engineering because I always liked mathematics and analytical kind of solutions. So I decided to study engineering in information technology. So I was graduated in Venkateshwar Engineering College in 2004. Back then, all of my friends wanted to go to US for higher studies. Definitely, it was always also my choice. But back then, it was not easy, with the funding and scholarship. And that time was a reason, like Germany offered higher education in English, and you don't have to pay for the tuition fees. So thanks to Germany, to offer such a high quality education, with scholarships, that really made me to come to Germany.
I
And
guess that was pretty much the only reason during our times back then. Those who cannot afford higher studies
exactly,
in other
I mean,
countries
let's me be
go to
frank. I
Germany.
mean, I'm from a middle class family, and to have that much of tuition fees, affordability is always a question. So in order to study, the masters in abroad, and that too in a quality education like Germany, so it was really a blessing in disguise for all of us. On top of it, it was a dual degree program. So it was both Master of Science and Master of Business Administration. So the technical studies in computer science were in Master of Science, and then the technology management in MBA. So it was a unique combination. So I really owe to my university, Technical University Hamburg.
Yes, so Satish is also an alumni of
Yeah,
TU
brought
Hamburg.
from TUHH.
Like me,
Yeah.
if you don't know, I'm also alumni from TU Hamburg.
He's my senior, and he picked me. I still remember the day when you picked it from Hamburg Airport and then took you to your home. I mean, those are like still stays in your memory. Those are the small moments which are more important when you are new to the country, new to the language is different, culture is different, food is different. You're away from your parents. The first initial months are the ones which is very important, and that makes you if you have a great start, it gives a positive energy, and then the positive feeling about the country. I think you seniors did a great job, and I think you're continuing the same path. I'm sure a lot of students are going
Yeah.
to benefit out of it.
I think the networking has become more stronger
Mhm.
than back in our days. But sorry, I couldn't come to the airport to pick you and your son 2 days back. But
That's
now
fine.
you should have
Yeah,
known
yeah.
your way to
It's,
find.
Family is growing, times are changing, priorities are changing, so
Yes,
I respect it.
Nice, nice. So Satish, so you studied, so kind of like you completed 2 degrees, right?
Mhm.
So you did the Masters of Science and also the MBA from the
Mhm.
NIT, and I guess you worked before coming to Germany in
Yes,
India,
I was
right?
just working for a year in corporate world in India. I mean, I would definitely recommend a year or two of experience. Really helps, especially now the program in an MBA requires some work experience. But there is no hard and fast rule that you have to really. Some people come out of the university and then start their masters. Some do for a year or two. But the only thing my advice is, the more you get into the corporate world, it's very difficult to switch to the academic world. Do it at a one single stroke so that you have the continuous path of maybe a master's or maybe PhD, so then you're in academic world, you're finishing a kind of your academic world and going into the corporate. So for me, a year of experience was okay. I would take it if you have a good chance. But it's not a hard and fast rule.
It also gives, I think, people the bit of an first-hand experience before getting into a different world, let's say,
culture,
that's also a bit of soft start. And talking about your job, I think this is where things gets more interesting. I will give a quick snapshot of your career, and then let's get into the details. So he worked in India, he came here, Satish did his master's, as I said, like 2 degrees. Then Satish worked in Germany and moved to US, and then he worked there, and he came back to Germany and worked here, and then he went back to India and worked there and moved back to Switzerland. Who knows where you will go next, but I think let's go step by step.
Yeah. I mean, the first thing after you finish your master's was always to study, work in the place where you studied, because you got integrated with the people and the culture. So I was lucky enough to find a job in and around Hamburg. So thanks to my employer. And I was there, working for 5 years there.
And what was your position?
Yeah, I started as a software engineer. So because since I had my passion for programming, so and later I moved into project management. I did my PMP certification. So
in the first
first
years.
3-4 years, and then I mean, eventually it gives you a good chance of more hands-on experience. You know what you're developing the software. I mean, I'm more coming from the IT field. It would be different for people from the electronics field. So that gave a good chance, to see what the real product development is, and it gave me a good insight of software development is, the different methodologies, and later climbing up into project management. The best thing which happened in this course of time is my German citizenship. That's one aspect which I feel so blessed of coming to Germany, is the visa regulations, and of getting your German passport is quite easier, because I just got it in 6 years.
Yeah, I know.
And, so I was maybe in the fast track with which I felt very happy, because the one good thing which happened in my life was definitely the citizenship, which gave me a chance to explore the other parts of the world. So, and then good thing is in India you have this combination of OCI, the Overseas Citizenship of India, which helps you still being in India, but you can do whatever you want.
It basically extends your horizon of the flexibility.
Exactly.
Basically.
So, and then I moved
just
to.
to proceed, I'm sorry for the interruption. I think it's a good point. Maybe we can touch here. I used to remember our discussions when you were switching from your software engineering to the project management, where I was already working as a project manager. So I think we used to discuss a lot. And maybe
what are the pros and cons, and
so maybe if you can give a bit of information on what made you to decide to change your path. I think it's a very good point, I think, also to share. What made you to change from a pure software developer branching out into the project management side?
Yeah, I mean, for sure I love debugging and coding, but I always felt that I don't have to do this throughout my life. So something which really liked me is the overall stakeholder of the project. So not only just you're responsible for a particular part of your project, but the whole responsibility you carry in the whole project, and that comes being a project manager. I mean, the interaction with the customers, the interaction with your developers, the interaction with your management people, and then the statuses. So you carry the ship, as a leader. So that gives you the accountability and more responsibility, which is more fun and interesting. And that's one of the prime reasons. And what I always felt is, with the MBA degree to me, and then the communication, and then the interaction. So that kind of like really fit me with terms of the technology, plus, the project management skills. So they go both hand in hand, because it's not just a pure cost management or the time management, but you know what, let's say, the software is doing, and then you combine it with your project management skills. So you could, plan the things, the delivery, the interaction with the customers, the expectation with the customers. So I really enjoyed it. I mean, that's something, it always gives you that extra challenge and accountability. And so I moved to US from Germany, from there. It was just more, like being from India and being a software engineer, always wanted to, taste that American life for some time. I mean, so thank God I went as an expat for 3 years and in the East Coast. So it was a great experience. But having seen both the US and Europe, I mean, every society has its plus and minus. There's no an ideal world.
Yeah, there's never an ideal world.
Exactly. So, I want to raise my son in Europe, so that shows the positives I see in Europe a lot, in terms of opportunities, in terms of the cultural experience, and in terms of the visa regulations being more easy, and even the advantage of having a German passport during my family situation, where I lost my mom and then I had to go back to India. My dad was alone. It was quite, at least I could make a decision to go back home because I had a German passport where I can always come back. So I was there for a couple of years in Chennai, and I was like, people kind of like valued it since you had the experience of working in abroad, studying in abroad, the flexibility, and so I always, one good thing happened was this higher studies. It makes you feel handle different situations. It's not just the pure academical part, but about the time management, the the cost management, the relationship management, how you interact with people, how you establish the relationships, the networks. It gives a totally different perspective and a horizon when you're just back in home, just working for a big corporate company. So I mean, if you are taking a chance, or if you are already in the right path of going into higher studies, I think you're in the right track.
Okay, great. I still want to pull you back
Okay.
to the US because I think it's also interesting aspect maybe to share, because you worked here and then you moved back, and you also spent considerable time, like 3 years, I guess.
3 years in US, yeah.
And if you can point out from the professional work aspect, one thing that is completely different in a working culture from Germany to US where you worked, what that would be?
I think productivity. I think Germans are really productive. I mean, in that way. I mean, we all know, at the end of the day, the results matters. I'm not saying that Americans are not productive, but it's a cultural difference.
Yeah, you're reflecting from your experience.
Exactly. So it's more takes a bit of time there. It's more about establishing the relationships and then doing the stuff. And I mean, let's not forget also, US is a land of immigrants, so people from different parts of the world come in. So I cannot really say that's kind of an American culture. Whereas here in Germany, we really have a German way of doing the things. And that is something like get the things done and more organized and the structured. And of course, there are always pitfalls here and there. I mean, as you said, there's no ideal world. Yes. I don't think life is not interesting if it's an ideal world.
No, it's boring.
Exactly. So US, for sure, it was a great experience. But with the dynamics of the society and the political cloud it has gotten, and then with the visa regulations and strictness, for sure, I think Europe is more safer, especially in terms of the higher studies and in terms of the opportunities as well. I mean, one also aspect I felt even for my son is the language, linguistic part. I mean, English is always, we learn it, but unless you don't learn a foreign language unless and otherwise you are there.
Of course.
So that's one plus I see when you are in Germany or in Europe, where you really have to pick up a foreign language. So it really helps you because it makes you feel more comfortable and more flexible, and it increases your horizon of opportunities. So,
definitely.
So
there is no harm in adding a new language to your portfolio.
CV.
Yeah,
exactly.
True. And I know you wanted to say something, but I have another question. Actually, it's like kind of like linking your move from US to India. I think you already mentioned it. Why? The flexibility, it's for the family reasons. And in that moment, I also, if I remember our discussions in that moment, I think having this passport really made the choice easier because of having kind of like hedging, so you don't need to wonder about the future. You just take the step and then let's see what comes. So you went there, so you already mentioned it. I'm just kind of like taking it back to the next question. So by then you have worked a few years in Germany and then a few years on the East Coast, and then emotionally disturbed, and then back to India, and then you also found a good job there in a good position, but it's a totally different setup, right? So it's like a different setup in India. So you worked there for like
couple of years,
right?
Yeah.
And what was the biggest challenge that you faced in this transition, besides this emotional thing, purely from this career perspective? Because you've already kind of gained, I've seen 2 dimensions, and then you were going into the third dimension.
It was very tough, I must say, Sami. It was not easy thing because for sure, Asian way of doing business is certainly different, and especially the IT industry in India has got a different dimensions. So what I felt is most of the time you're doing services for the companies in Europe or in US. So your time zone basically is from 12 to 9. So I felt like all my evenings are gone. So that is
It
what
doesn't matter in which position you are in the company.
So the time zone and where your customers are always either in Europe or US. So the evenings and the family time is where I felt was really beating me because at the end it's all about family. You want a good quality family life. And the second aspect what I felt is the commutation and the transportation. Of course, not everybody is lucky to be near to your office. So the commute you have to lose a couple of hours or 3 hours per day. So that plays a very big role in your productivity of your day-to-day life.
Especially when you are used to a very smooth way of transportation.
I was a spoiled kid in Europe and US, so it was tough. So, but as I said, I mean, it was a good experience to see the other side of the world and appreciate what I got actually, before, so I could really relate the things. But having said and done, it was a challenging in terms of the dynamism where the industry was going. So I mean, I have to work another 20 years. I mean, I'm 37 now, so who knows what comes out. But I thought
don't reveal the age.
Yeah. So I thought I always wanted to come back because that was the reason why I took the German passport. And I want to raise my son here. So it was a perfect plan that he started his schooling here. So now I'm back in Switzerland, working for what I really like in my field of domain, in the life science domain. I couldn't ask for anything more, and so if I look back, when we started, let's say in 2005, almost 14 years back, close to 15 years, I wouldn't regret my decision. I mean, everybody has ups and downs, everybody has their tough phase, but overall, the path which I've chosen really helped me to be where I am now.
Exactly. You kind of already answered my next question.
Okay.
That is being your
Maybe
good
I was
friend,
a bit advanced. No, we didn't prepare the questions anyway.
Yes,
it was more spontaneous.
Yes. What actually I wanted for the younger generation, that making us a bit older generation, is just wanted to show, because my career path after graduation is a bit different than yours. And then if you look at our other friends, they also had a different path. So what I wanted to show others is to have a kind of a look. You made different choices. In the end, you are happy and you are grateful and thankful for the choices that you made.
I don't regret my decisions.
Yeah, I think this is what I also wanted to have as a kind of a takeaway for others. So there is no clear way of career right after the graduation from any university, but specifically from Germany, where we are talking about the real life examples. It doesn't matter which courses one finishes or what kind of dreams one have or plan. Things move ahead and then people adapt. I think that is the reality. And so before we kind of I think it's already getting quite long in this video, and I'm also very new with all these things. But one final thing, because as you were here, if you wanted to share one important thing for those who are studying in Germany or planning to study or in the early stage of their careers, to plan for their career, what would that be?
Yeah, I mean, as you mentioned, everybody's path is different. Everybody's question paper in life is different. I always believe in that. And one thing what I would recommend to my, young generation or young friends is persistence. Always persist with what you do. Please don't make choices or quick random choices, and don't make any hasty decisions. Stick to what you are doing. There might be a phase where it is really tough. There might be a phase, things go, even though you do kind of normal stuff, that it goes in a very good level. Persist with whatever you do. Tough times are always there, and give some passion in whatever you do, and I'm sure results will always follow. And I don't want to be more philosophical than this. I mean,
and we're not even having beer now.
Exactly.
So let's stop the philosophical discussion.
Enjoy the path of life. Enjoy the ups and downs. Enjoy the life is a box of chocolates.
Face it. Yeah.
And you don't know what is going to be there inside it. So just grab it and proceed with it.
Okay. Yeah. Very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
formal
I really enjoyed
finishing,
it.
and I hope these kind of discussions at least make sense and it helps. And then yeah, so we will try to bring more of such insights into experienced people probably in the next videos. And then take care and stay healthy. Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Bye bye.